Welcome to the March 31st, 2020 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And we have a beautiful show here for you. Lots of really awesome stuff that happened in our realm, and it helped that we were there to receive this information. But we have a lot of really cool stuff. There's some unfortunate COVID stuff going on, but for the most part, there's a lot of positivity going on, at least in the video game space. So, Lotus, you had a bit here up on the top that I know you wanted to speak about.
Why, yes. So, one of my favorite things that comes up twice a year is the Games Done Quick marathons. And Summer Games Done Quick normally happens in, I forgot, June or July. I want to say June, like early summer. But because of the coronavirus stuff, it's being postponed to August for safety. Like, maybe things will have calmed down by then to the point where people can recongregate, because it's held in a hotel or a convention hall or something. It's in different venues each time, so lots of crowds gather there. But, you can't do that right now, so it's been postponed to August. But the channel has also done marathons that people do from their homes. They just stream things from their private computers, and they're given the Games Done Quick, I guess, UI. It's not exactly an interface, but like the HUD, I suppose. It has the look of the Games Done Quick, although they obviously don't have a million tech people working on it.
Sure.
So they've done stuff like that before and interspersed other things throughout the year that isn't the big events. And it looks like one of the things they're going to do is called Corona Relief Done Quick on April 17th through 19th. Like, they've done...
This isn't really much of a surprise. They're so good with their philanthropy here.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they've done things like Frame Fatales, where they have some people do their streamings, and they've done other things like that. But this is the second time that I'm aware of where they did an emergency stream. The other time was for relief when Texas got hit with those floods. So this time it's Corona relief, so they'll be having a semi-impromptu marathon. I guess it just is impromptu because it's being put together quickly, and they still have to schedule things to make the timing make sense, but it's going to happen.
What a great organization. They really are on top of things, and their heart is always in the
they raise millions and millions of dollars
place
over the course of 10 years. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and they are a great organization. The event itself is entertaining as hell.
Yeah, I would love to attend one of those.
Yeah, and it's organized extremely well. They really know what they're doing. So I'm sure this will be really good, and you'll be here to report on it once it goes down.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be the people streaming from home. It's just like an event for this specific purpose. So it'll probably be just watching a bunch of streamers with whatever recording equipment they have done, like YouTube or Twitch streaming from home. But you know what? I am excited about seeing more runs, and they'll have probably most of them, if not all, will have co-commentators. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, and I'm sure they'll do some really cool streams there that I'll enjoy myself. And then we had a kind of a little one here, but I thought that this was kind of a cool little thing to go over. So if you have followed Don Bluth at all, if you're like a big animation fan, so Don Bluth, if for those that are don't know, is like the animator that broke away from Disney back in the 80s that created like all kinds of franchises in his wake. He made The Land Before Time and American Tail.
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
All Dogs Go to Heaven. Mrs. Brisby and the Rats of Nim.
Yeah, well, that's the book. The movie was just called The Secret of Nim.
Oh, well, it was Frisbee in the book.
Frisbee in the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brisby for the sake of dodging a bullet there. And I forgot. Did he do Anastasia?
He did Anastasia.
Titan
AE was his last feature film. So it was a Pebble and the Penguin, Balto. I think a lot of those. Troll in Central Park. It might not have been Balto. Balto's the only one that I that I can't confirm. I think Thumbelina is his as
Oh, An
well.
American Tail.
I said that
Oh,
one,
he did.
yeah.
American Tail, Five Goes West.
He did not do any of the sequels, to
Oh,
my knowledge.
really?
Yeah, none of them,
Oh.
including Land Before Time, which has a billion
Yeah, there's
sequels.
like 7 of those or something, or maybe more.
Yeah, yeah. But I think he's only ever done the originals out of all of them. But he's also well known for being a pioneer in the arcade space. He created Dragon's Lair and Dragon's Lair 2 and Space Ace, and that's his animation in those games. And he helped come up with the concept of the game and everything. So Dragon's Lair is like a hugely important title in terms of importance and for technology, and it was also an extremely popular game at the time just because of what you did in it. It was so novel at the time, but nowadays it's more than just like a DVD load screen.
Yeah,
kind
nowadays
of.
it did not age well at all. It's a bunch
No.
of quarter munching bullshit. But the idea that you could play a cartoon when this was the era of like Space
And a
Invaders and
beautiful
Pac-Man,
cartoon at
this was
that.
shocking. Yeah.
Well, he's been trying to get a Dragon's Lair movie made
He
for a very
kickstarted
long
that
time.
years ago.
Yeah, so apparently he made Dragon's Lair 3D back during the original Xbox era, but that was probably like the last big thing he made. He did some animation for an iOS version of Tapper. You know, the classic
All
arcade
right.
game Tapper. He did like a version of that, with his animation. But yeah, apparently he got a live action version greenlit,
Which defeats the purpose of what
yeah.
Dragon's Lair is.
I mean, it's kind of cool in concept. Like, I'm sure that the concept lends itself to a lot of comedic effect.
I'm sure it does, but like I guarantee this is not going to happen. But I think the way to make the movie the most successful, like in all seriousness, would be to have it be like the video game Late Shift, where it's an FMV Dragon's Lair, effectively.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
like you're choosing what happens, and oh no, the Ryan Reynolds died in the movie because I played it poorly.
So I was going to tell that apparently the person that is attached to play Dirk the Daring is Ryan Reynolds, which is actually a really good choice.
Yeah, I mean he does have that like smarmy
oh no,
we get
I
the
died.
camera hero. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Like he makes for a good Wade Wilson. I could see him being Dirk, like, haha, I'll save the day, kind of.
And then like turn into a pile of skeletons.
Yeah,
you know he's
going
gonna die like a
terrible
ton
deaths.
in it. Yeah. But yeah, Dragon's Lair has always been like a contentious favorite of mine. I had it on the original Sega CD, but I could never get anywhere because the game is goddamn hard.
Yeah, I only have it on the Wii, I think.
I have the Blu-ray now, which is like the best version.
Yeah, the best way to play it is not to play it. Yeah, I think a bunch of the versions of the game have as extras the supercut.
Yeah, the supercut. Just watch the beautiful animation. Don Bluth is known for his beautiful animation. That's why it's so good. But I'm excited. I mean, Don Bluth is also ancient by this point. He's an old guy, so I'm surprised that he has enough gumption to get this done.
At least he doesn't have to draw and animate the live action version.
Yeah, that's true. He can help direct it, or produce it. So
now, I want you to walk
really
cool. Slowly up to this turn, and then something might happen. We'll find out.
But yeah, he is apparently it's greenlit with Netflix, which is a great place for it. I don't think it's a good theater movie, but this would be a great Netflix.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This
thing.
would be like that one Black Mirror episode, the Choose Your Own Adventure one, or I said, the video game, which apparently also played in theaters, Late Shift, where it's Dragon's Lair, except it's live action instead of animated. Like that would be amazing. Yeah,
and I'm excited for it. I'll certainly watch that when it comes around. And another bit of Netflix news: the Castlevania, Against All Odds, has been renewed for a 4th season. Not like it's popular, but like it's just funny that Castlevania, of all things, can't come out with a new game.
Yeah, if you had gone back to a few years ago
anime.
And said there would be a 4-season TV series of this,
this is huge. Like I can't even think of anything like this. Most anime doesn't get past unless it's like a shonen anime, like like One Piece or Dragon Ball or whatever. Most anime like lasts a single season,
Well, they're designed to
or
last
two.
that long. It's not like
Yeah,
American shows where we'll see if people throw money at it, it will make more, and they always hedge their bets and have like it could be a series finale, but we could go somewhere from here. Anime are usually designed with an end. So
yeah.
like it's just the philosophy is different. This seems to be more of a Western style show, though it's like
It is produced by an
anime.
anime studio.
Yeah, that,
But it is written by Garth Ennis, Western comic book author. So,
wait, I forgot if this is the guy I was thinking of. Is Garth Ennis the guy who did The Boys?
yeah, and Pilgrim, or not Pilgrim.
Oh,
Preacher.
when I say The Boys, by the
Preacher.
way, I mean the comic and not the
Yeah,
Amazon Prime series.
it's the same thing.
No, I know, but like, did he write the Prime series?
I mean, it's based on his comic, so
No, I know, but like he didn't make the Prime series though. Maybe he was like helping oversee it or something.
I mean, he was heavily involved. It's very accurate.
Okay.
It's a very accurate adaptation, except that Simon Pegg is the father of the main character rather than the main character.
Yeah, that's hysterical. It's been
But I
too
mean,
long.
it's cool that they got him for like a cameo like
Yeah,
that.
that's
pretty
great.
neat. But yeah, this is pretty damn awesome, especially from a gigantic Castlevania fan such as myself. I have not watched past the first season because I've just been fucking busy, but this is great, and everybody seems to love the Castlevania series. So it seems like it certainly deserves it. Moving on from that, maybe they'll finally add Grant.
That is a little funny, isn't it? Because they
Yeah,
have
Grant's not in it.
Sylph or Sypha.
Silpha.
They have Alucard. So
Sure.
yeah, Grant's the last one, isn't he?
Yeah, Trevor's there, of course. He's the main
Well,
character.
obviously, but yeah, Grant. That is strange. I just want to see him just crawl on the ceiling. It's just like ugh.
So this next announcement is kind of funny, but the final Platinum 4 announcement is supposed to happen on April 1st. So
Well, that might be nothing because in Japan
It
it's
might
April
be.
2nd.
Oh, what? The April Fool's is April 2nd?
No, I'm saying in Japan it's April 2nd. Like the announcement is on April 2nd,
Oh.
so it's not April Fool's for them.
Yeah, but I don't know. If any company would play an April Fool's joke, I think it would be Platinum.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember like when Attack on Titan season 2 came out, it was like
Attack on Teen Titans.
yes, it was like 4 or 5 years after season 1, and they like announced it on April 1st. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But in Japan, it was April 2nd. Like they're like, no, that's just what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what's up, but I don't really have any hint as to what's going to be happening. But it's still really cool. What Platinum's been doing, and their success so far, is pretty darn cool. What we have, what was the third thing? Or is this the third announcement?
I don't know.
Because the first one was, of course, the Wonderful 101, and then the second announcement was the new Mikami game, right?
I forgot. I don't know.
Yeah, he's supposed to be making like a third game in the like superhero kind of games that he's been making.
Sure.
This might actually be the third one,
Wait,
so it might.
you said Mikami? It would be Kamiya, wouldn't it?
Kami, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mikami is the Resident Evil guy.
Yeah.
When you said making a third game, I'm like, Evil Within 3?
Yeah. Platinum 4. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this Platinum 4 website. I want to make sure. So yeah. Yeah, so this is the third announcement. I'm sorry. So Platinum Games' third one is Platinum Games is heading to Tokyo. Yeah, I didn't even remember hearing about this. So apparently they are changing their where their headquarters is going to be. So that was their third announcement. So the fourth announcement is going to be April 1st. So yeah, that's a strange one. I guess because it wasn't that exciting. It wasn't a new game or anything like that.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, we actually this has been like a bizarre time in gaming. Like all kinds of new shit is popping up, like for old stuff. But Forest of Illusion released an unreleased N64 prototype of Viewpoint 2064. Do you know anything about Viewpoint, the first game?
Nope.
So Viewpoint was actually an isometric shooter that kind of looked like Zaxxon. Do you know what Zaxxon is?
Yeah, vaguely. I've heard of it anyway.
Well, it has like an isometric perspective where you go up diagonally.
Sure.
Like from the bottom left of the screen to the top right of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So Viewpoint was a game that was on the Neo Geo MVS or AES. You could play it in the arcade. It was a shmup for the system, and it kind of had the perspective of that game of Zaxxon. So apparently there was a space world demonstration going on for a sequel, and somebody tracked down the prototype. They apparently a private collector had it and released it to Forest of Illusion, who released it to the internet. So this is really cool. I mean, it looks like it's kind of Star Fox-ish. Like it's on rails. It's of course unfinished.
This might have been. I think this might have been the thing that we've seen like years ago, where it was like unreleased game and we didn't know what it was called. I remember seeing something that was Star Fox-ish that was just some weird thing that never ended up coming to pass. So maybe that was it the whole time.
Yeah, and people are having fun with it. They're playing with it, and apparently the music is really cool. So definitely check that out if you're into that kind of thing. I mean, keep your your expectations in check, though. It is an unfinished game, but it looks neat and it has a cool premise, and shooters are always cool in my book. So moving on from that, in the kind of a similar vein, SMS Power, which is like the forums where like all of the Sega Master System junk gets done. This is where like people have congregated to hack Game Gear games and put them on the Sega Master System. They've done some really cool work there, and like basically upgraded Game Gear games to make them work on the Sega Master System, like expanded their viewpoint, their view range, and all this other cool stuff. Well, apparently they tracked down an undocumented, undumped game for the Sega Master System that was made in 1987. It was Japan only, but it's kind of in the vein of those Konami games that we went over for the Famicom a few months ago, where they were basically only released to schools. They're like it's an educational game about traffic safety. So like they apparently released this to would release this to a school, and kids would learn about traffic safety there. So therefore, like it was never advertised in a commercial kind of space. You couldn't buy it at a store. You would need to do it through a partnership with a with the school and Sega. They apparently dumped it, released it, and translated it.
Damn.
So you can play it in English if you wish as well, which
now
is
I can
really
finally learn
neat.
about traffic safety.
Japanese traffic safety from the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will tell you to not be using your boombox.
Yeah, right.
But I just thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it's not something. It's a nice curio, but it's not something you're going to be like, oh man, I need to break out my Sega Master
I need
System
to 100% complete this.
But it's a a full game, and it's just a cool little time capsule into how the software could have been used. So this is one of your news items here.
Yeah, I guess this is a quickie, but just suddenly the source code for the old computer game, like the old DOS game, God of Thunder, has been released. That's just amusing to me. Remember God of Thunder? Like it
I
only
know
made
you
it
do.
onto it only made it onto Steam like a year ago. Weirdly, like remember this? Here it
It's
is. And
very
now that,
Zelda-ish, right?
yeah, it's
For
like
the
a
DOS kind of game.
yeah, like it moves a little more smoothly, but the graphics I think are a downgrade from the NES. But it has a more fleshed out like story, like things you're supposed to do. It's not just about exploration and see what happens. There's a narrative, and you go to places in order. And the game has a good sense of humor. It's very jokey considering you're Thor, God of Thunder.
It kind of has a lighthearted tone to it, kind of like Bard's Tale or something like that, kind of like a little smarmy.
It's goofy as hell. Like you talk to this one, I forgot the names of the various Norse gods, but there's this one fire being that's supposed to tell you where you're supposed to go because he has like all sorts of knowledge on him. And one of the jokes was like how like he might be aware of how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, and they actually typed out one, a two, who, a three. I'm like, nice. It's like
that's
stupid shit like
bananas.
that. Yeah, there's stuff like where you need to like plug something into like an outlet in a wall, even though it's like old timey Viking time.
It's medieval
There's
times,
goofy
yeah.
stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Like, I need to repair a
that's
bridge.
cool.
What kind of bridge? Like the bridge on my dental crown. Like stuff like that. It's just goofy.
Nice. Well, I'm happy that the source code is released. I mean,
Yeah.
that means that you could potentially make a fan game with the same engine or something like that. You know,
Yep.
or
Now
maybe even
my two
improvements.
passions have been realized. Kingsfield's fan games can be made. That was released years ago and years ago.
They have source code for that released.
Yeah, like intentionally. There was
Really?
there was like a PC program that let you do that. Good fucking
Wow.
luck finding a Western version. And
Oh yeah.
like I think it came with like that PC version of old OG Kingsfield. So people have been making fan games for a while. It's like, make a fan Super Nintendo Zelda game, a fan Chrono Trigger game. You can just do it. Now you can make a fan God of Thunder game if you wanted to, I guess.
Pretty awesome. Well, moving on from that, it looks like we have a new character for Soul Calibur 6, right?
Yeah, I mean, we knew about this for a long time, but his trailer finally went up. So Haomaru from Soul Calibur 6, from Samurai Showdown, 2S games.
Yeah, you know what? I actually just played the new Samurai Showdown with Retro Gamer over the weekend
There you go.
and had a blast. Yeah, we did that on Friday night. We had a good time.
I was actually getting ready to play it because I have a copy, and then I was like, oh, there's a season of DLC characters that isn't out yet. All right, fuck it. Like I'll wait till the I'll wait till the game's
Wait
out before I
until it's
play
complete.
it. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
Haomaru was basically Mitsurugi if he ever smiled. So it's interesting to see the two of them in the same game.
Yeah, he kind of has that wry smile.
Yeah, they're both the
going on.
wandering Ronin, but
Sure.
Haomaru's got this like smarmy attitude where Mitsurugi's just like deadly serious.
I love that Namco goes forward and is partnering with the other like fighting franchises,
Oh yeah.
and giving them a shot. And obviously Soul Calibur is like one of the biggest games.
You
So
can play as freaking 2B from Nier Automata in Soul Calibur 6. It's like,
yeah,
what?
this is going to be a really good Soul Calibur, I think. I'm seriously looking forward to it. Do you know when it's out?
No, I forgot, but like, just the trailer's finally up, hooray!
Yeah, a lot of really good fighting games lately. I mean, Samurai Showdown is a really good one. I played it and I really enjoyed it.
I'm excited that Basara made it into it. For whatever reason, I just like Basara. He's just a cool character.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
You know what they need to bring back is Genon, who I think was in the first Samurai Showdown and then never again. He's a little green, like gremlin guy with a big metal claw hand.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually what Retro was talking about. Retro was very disappointed that he couldn't play as him in Samurai Showdown,
You can
the newest
never
one.
play as him. I think
Yeah.
he was in like the first game, and there's like 6 fucking games, and he's just gone forever. And now there's 7
Yeah.
games because the 7th one is just called Samurai Showdown again.
Yeah, he was hoping that he was going to be added. And
please.
it's his favorite character.
Yeah,
So
it's cool.
yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those things. You sometimes you never get your favorite character. I mean, like Rock Howard is actually a pretty damn popular character, and he's barely in anything.
Yeah, they really resist putting him in anything. He was in
I don't know why.
what, Mark of Wolves and like Capcom versus SNK 2, and that's it.
I think
maybe the Pocket Color or something.
I think he makes an appearance in Maximum Impact, which is the 3D one.
Okay.
But that's it.
Yeah.
But that's a shame.
I always thought it was cool. I don't know about Mark of Wolves, but in Capcom versus SNK 2, characters can do like a roll to go like to the other side of a character. Like
Sure.
you could get out of being
Defense
pinned
roll.
in a wall. But
Sure.
Rock's animation isn't a dodge roll. He does that thing where he runs at you and like anime zooms past you. It just looks cool. He does a little shing with the lines. It's great.
He's an awesome character, absolutely.
And he appears to be friends with Terry.
Oh, he's his adopted father.
Oh, okay.
He's his adopted son. Terry, he is Geese Howard's son, and Terry adopts him because he feels guilty that he killed Geese. So that's why he could do both sets of moves, like a combination of the two sets of moves.
He still has Raising Storm.
Yeah, he's a good guy though. He's unlike Geese. Moving on from that, this is the big news, and this just basically happened yesterday.
This is crazy.
As of this recording. But Nier Replicant is getting a remastered release on was it Steam?
It's like everything, I think.
PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited about
no
this.
Switch. No Switch.
Well, what a surprise.
Yeah.
Call me back in 3 years when Switch gets it or whatever. But I'm really excited about this because Nier has always been a console exclusive. And in Japan, when Nier was new, there were 2 Nier games, Nier Gestalt and Nier Replicant. And
are you a replicant or a replicant?
Yes, and one of them was on the PS3 and the other was on the 360.
Yep.
But in the West, both the PS3 and the 360 just got Nier Gestalt. And Nier Replicant is basically the same game. It's almost entirely the same. It's just that the difference is who you are and what your motivation is. In the game that we got, no matter what, you play as a guy called Nier, but you're a father trying to save his daughter. Whereas in Nier Replicant, you are a younger Nier and you're trying to save your sister. But otherwise, the games are effectively the same. But we never got Replicant, so just in principle, I'm happy that we're getting it. And apparently, I think there might be some extra stuff associated with it, and the soundtrack's been remastered and everything. So I'm very excited about that.
It has one of the best soundtracks of all time of any game ever.
It's really, really, really good. I imported the CDs.
I'm not even exagerating. Yeah. It's probably for top soundtracks of all time. It's probably in the top 20.
A lot of the songs are so melancholy, but they're done really well.
So powerful.
And by the way, if you have played Nier Automata, because that game was more accessible because it's also on PC, there are a lot of song callbacks to classic Nier songs, so you have some idea of what Nier's soundtrack sounds like. Not all of it, but some of it.
Yeah, I am really, really looking forward to this because this is a game that I started playing and I never finished, and I definitely want to beat it before I go on to playing Automata. So
you really should too. Automata does exist in a vacuum, but there are definite conspicuous references to the previous game.
Yeah, and I really liked it when I was playing it. I just got distracted. It was just one of those things. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be really great. Plus, I don't have to break out my PS3 in order to play it.
I'll play it again just for the different take. Again, it's basically the same game, but you have a younger Nier. So I wonder if the audio is adjusted, or if not the audio, the dialogue is adjusted slightly, or what.
Yeah, a lot of people are hoping that they hired the same voice actors. Obviously, Nier has to be played by somebody different.
And you'd probably have to replace Yona as well, because she's like a little girl in the... well, she could potentially be the same age, but I don't know.
Well, unless there was additional dialogue, I guess is the I guess she would need to have slightly altered dialogue in order to address Nier the proper way.
Well, that's what I mean. Like referring to them as father and daughter instead of brother and sister. But otherwise, most of the dialogue's probably the same. But I'm just wondering if you would need to replace Yona's voice actor. Like, does she get a little older if you have a brother sister relationship? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think a lot of people are worried that what's the female companion character's name?
Oh, Kaine.
Kaine probably has one of the best like performances of any character
She
in a
steals
video
the
game.
show. Like every performance in
Yeah,
that game is great, but I would argue that she and
takes the
Grimoire
cake.
Weiss like steal the show.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody's hoping that they get the same voice actors for at least those two characters as well.
I would hope they get the
Um,
same voice actors for everybody. Everybody did a
yeah,
great job, and I don't know why you couldn't just reuse their audio anyway.
sure, sure. I'm really looking forward to it, and maybe they might even put some quality of life improvements. Like especially when it comes to like the farming and stuff.
Yeah, maybe
um,
they could like
make it
increase
not
the
stupid.
percentage chance of like fusing your flowers for that one side quest because that is supreme amounts of bullshit.
I'm sure that'll be among the things that they will address, but I think like pretty much everything else is great about the game.
Yeah,
So
and that's totally optional, but it just pisses me off.
yeah,
But yeah, but no, the game is fantastic. I highly recommend it.
yeah, me as well.
I
It's
mean,
definitely one of those games that would have you would keep a PS3 around for. So it's really good,
yeah,
great that
it's not made
it's
by
being
Platinum
freed.
Games, so like the combat's not going to feel like
No,
Bayonetta
it's
or
not the same.
Automata, but it's still very good.
Yep, yep. Also, along with that, they kind of teased another like side game,
Yeah,
Nier Reincarnation. It's going to be a mobile title, iOS, Android,
yeah.
obviously.
So
But
let's
they,
hope they port that.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what the nature of it is because they didn't show any gameplay. But I'm probably gonna guess that it's a visual novel, or something similar to that, because it just looks like that. But that's just conjecture. They really just showed art and that kind of thing. It might just be like a light novel kind of story, that
I mean,
goes
I
along
could
with it.
easily buy it. There are parts in both Nier and Nier Automata where it just is just text for a little while.
Sure, sure. So, and that it's a story heavy series to begin with. So
Yeah.
I find that credible. I would think that would be a reasonable thing, but we'll see when it comes to fruition. It might be just like any other gotcha game or
If
whatever.
it's called like based on the name reincarnation, like you know how like Nier comes from an alternate ending in Drakengard, and
Yeah,
Automata comes from one of the endings in Nier.
yeah. Maybe it's an
Drakengard,
offshoot.
yeah, like the future could have come from one or two of the endings in Drakengard 3. Yeah, maybe reincarnation's also an offshoot. It's possible. Who
Or
knows?
yeah, yeah. Well, I think they're going to add. They said also that they're adding the voice actor to Near Replicant that played 2B. Like she has some sort of role.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
heard there was yeah, and 9S I think. Yeah, I heard
yeah,
there's have
yeah,
some, which is interesting because I thought Automata took place well after Nier, so I'm curious.
yeah. I mean,
Maybe
we'll,
it'll be
we'll
like a
see.
Killer 7 thing where now that No More
They
Heroes
they combine
exists,
them
the
a little bit
remake
more.
has like Dan Smith influencing somebody. Yeah, so like who knows?
Yeah, maybe there's some kind of like human inspiration for those characters, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean,
But
even the organization in Automata called Yorha, I mean, it's its own thing, but it just makes me think of Yona, like the
mhm.
girl's name. Like, who knows? And
Yeah,
2B
maybe
has white hair. Yona had white hair. That's a bit of a stretch, I'll admit, but who knows?
maybe they'll tie the things together. I mean, a lot of things have been happening like that when games have been remastered in the modern
Yeah,
era.
now that the
So
later games have been made, let's throw nods to them in, even though it wouldn't have made sense back in the day. Stuff like that,
yeah, I mean,
like Yakuza Kiwami. Yeah.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they're doing that. Actually, I like adding Dan Smith to Killer 7. That that's cool.
Well, Dan Smith was always in
Or
Killer 7.
I meant, you know what I meant.
To Travis Strikes Again?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, moving on from that, the new Shantae game, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, got a release date for major platform,
A release
major
date
platforms.
to not a bullshit platform sounds good to me. And I don't mean mobile, I mean Apple Arcade. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, let's put it on things people will actually play.
Well, the main games that went to Apple Arcade, the timed exclusives, Shantae and Exit the Gungeon rather, have made their jumps. So
yeah, thank God.
Major platform release for Shantae is going to be May 28th, which is not too far off. We have 2 months to go. I am super excited for that. However, I am woefully behind in the Shantae games.
Yeah, I still have to play literally any
all
of them.
Yeah,
and I have all of them except for the Game Boy Color one, obviously.
I keep. I have the Game Boy Color version for
like
the
3DS.
Yeah, exactly. And that game is really hard. A lot harder than the other ones. I might just skip it because it's hard to play because it's so difficult. But I don't know whether my proclivities will let me, but I certainly know that the other games are in higher regard than the original. So even though the original is held in high regard because of its
by the 10
prowess.
people who know about it, although there's a chance for more people now, but nobody touched that game when it first came out. It was way too late.
Yeah. But moving on from that, we have a follow-up here on some speculation from last week. We went over a tease by Sega for a new campaign they were rolling out, and it turned out it's actually the more disappointing guess of the two. Unfortunately, it was not a Virtua Fighter tease. It was a Sega Sanshiro related announcement. So apparently Sega Sanshiro, the ambassador for Sega Saturn, has a son named Sega Shiro.
Well, not only that though, it's the real actor's son as well, I think.
Yes, that is correct. The actor's actual son is playing him, and he is focusing on. I think the character is supposed to be the ambassador of nostalgia, Sega nostalgia.
Yeah, just
to
Sega in
current
general.
gamers.
Yeah, he just teleports in with this anime background, and he's just Sega stuff. He's a really young guy. He's not going to be able to do what his dad did and just intimidate the shit out of you, play Sega Saturn or I'll beat your ass. He's not going for that angle, nor should he. It's been done. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, apparently Shiro is also to show or something like that. It's
so
pun.
When he says Sega Shiro, it sounds like the Sega Sanshiro stuff. That's pretty funny.
Well, to show because he's showing people the stuff. So it's a pun on multiple levels apparently.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I mean that's kind of cool in principle, but we both kind of wanted some Virtua Fighter action here.
And the Sega Sanshiro is fucking great, but yeah, it would have been nice to see Virtua Fighter 6.
Moving on, Silent Hill rumors are total bunk.
Wow, I can't believe Silent Hill still isn't happening, just like it did in the last year, or the previous year, or the previous year. Shut the fuck up about Silent Hills. It's fucking dead. Kojima is not working with the company that fired him 5 minutes ago. Yeah. If you want to know where Silent Hills is, it's called Death Stranding. It has Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro in it.
Yes.
It's not scary. Well, parts of it kind of are, actually. But still, it's as good as it's going to get.
But, I warned you guys of this. It was coming from a very small website, so I knew that they probably didn't have the connections in order to know this kind of thing. And also, it didn't sound right.
Kojima is not going to work with Konami again.
No. And
Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro, I believe, have both tweeted... No. Norman Reedus, I think, tweeted a picture of Kojima drinking from a mug that was labeled Konami's
Tears, yeah.
And Guillermo del Toro tweeted #FuckKonami. So no shit, they're not fucking working with Konami again.
And Kojima uncharacteristically liked them. Like he
Yeah, they're
gave,
not working with Konami. Who the fuck would think after that Konami would even approach them after that? And even if they
yeah, no.
did, that they would agree to it. Like, Silent
Yeah,
Hill is not happening from Kojima Productions.
yeah, and like Team Silent is not going to reform. I hate to tell everybody.
And if they did, it would be for Konami. So, like, yeah, we're not doing the Kojima stuff. When's
Correct.
the last time we've seen Team Silence? Like, Siren on the PS2?
No, well, Forbidden Siren, I guess.
That's what I'm saying.
No, well, PS3, the
Oh, they,
remake.
they also worked on the newer one?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't expect anything meaningful, in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, Konami's been good about releasing collections of games that already
Yeah, they have
exist,
been
so
good about
maybe they'll
that.
do, like, a proper remaster of Silent Hill 2 or 3, who knows? But, like, Silent Hills is not happening, and if it is, it's not with Kojima.
And those collections are top notch. I
Except for
might
Silent
add.
Hill, which is famously garbage.
Yeah, but I mean, like the recent
Yeah,
ones
the newer
are
ones that are
top
like
notch.
Super Nintendo and PS1 games.
Yeah, no, they've done a really good job at also releasing like rare versions of certain games and like
Oh, like Kid Dracula.
yeah, translating Kid Dracula. The they did the work for like um the Dracula X Chronicles game, with Symphony of the Night on it, and
Yeah.
they used like the PSP version of Symphony of the Night as its basis, which is like the most up to date one. So it's pretty cool that they did all that. So
Hmm.
it's just one of those things that Konami has been good about, but they really haven't been good about making anything new, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to go forward and also talk a little bit about the Streets of Rage 4 Classic Edition that limited run is coming out. I just wanted to quickly mention it because it looks like a really cool Genesis outer
Yeah, the
case.
Genesis clamshell case. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go with the standard edition. That's fine, but it's cool they're doing that. Like, I think I mentioned
Yeah.
this before, but Toe Jam and Earl did something similar. They have like a Sega clamshell case for the special edition of their game. It's just kind of like, nice.
Nice, nice. Well, Lotus, do you have any other announcements that you wanted to go over for this week?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay, well, we do not think that we forgot about the Nintendo Direct Mini, but it's
It's huge.
a meaty subject, and I wanted to give it its due by going over it this week in Corrective Consciousness this week. So I think we'll stop it there for now this week, and then we'll move on and take care of things on Thursday. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds fair enough. We'll certainly have enough to talk about.
Okay, well, that's the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. That helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. Also, don't forget to ring the bell while you're there. I know it.
Smash that like button.
Yes, I know every channel tells you to do that, but it's like, especially with a show like ours that gets released twice a week, you'd like to know when it goes up. So that helps you get to the podcast right away. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture, and we'll also go over that Nintendo Direct Mini. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, and pretty much everything.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, speaking of which, both Deathmark, my public stream, and Shadow Tower, my Patreon stream, I think are concluding this upcoming week. Or I suppose maybe Deathmark's already concluded by the time you're listening to this, but you know what I mean. So getting in an exclusive live stream, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, and if you are interested in getting in a conversation with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found on patreon.com/lotusprince.
And I did want to throw out a couple quick plugs here because I did play some random games this week, and I have to say that shiny new port of Doom 64 that Night Dive put together is quite amazing. They did a really good job.
Awesome.
And I've also been playing Black Mesa, which is a remake of another great first-person shooter, and it is phenomenal. It gives me the feels when I'm playing it. So I do have to shout out and say that we did report on those things earlier, and I can say that both of those projects were successul. Really good
Marvelous.
stuff. Yeah. No, it was id on the first one and Valve on the other. It wasn't Marvelous. They had nothing to do with it.
Damn it. I can't believe I made such a gaffe.
You should have exceeded our expectations on that one.
Ooh. Nicely done.
All right, Nipponichi.
I was trying to throw some company in there.
All right, guys. We will catch everybody on Thursday. We'll catch you then, okay?
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.